I didn't know we were live. Okay, sorry. Hi, folks. I'm Pierre. I'm the product owner of website, e-commerce, and payments. And today, I'm super proud and excited to talk to you about our new feature that will be available in Odoo 15, which is Odoo payment for both online and point of sale. So online means that our users that have e-commerce can accept, payment from their customers directly with all the cards, and also if your customers can pay their invoice on the portal, they can use Odoo payments to do so. Secondly, point of sale means that if you bought a terminal, then you can use that terminal in your store to receive payments from physical cards, right? So before we dive into the detail, I have a confession to make, guys. Last year, some of you may remember that we present a similar feature. And some of you might even have landed on this page. Odoo payment by Adyen is coming soon. So actually, in this case, soon means almost a year. Sorry, we thought we could build Rome in one day. But the good news is that because we know this feature, and I will demonstrate why this feature is so amazing, we kept working very hard, and at the end of the day, we're still proud that we can deliver it this year. So why we think this feature is so good? Let's think about today how it works. If you want to start a simple e-commerce, for example, you want to sell cookies. Your grandmother has an amazing recipe for cookies, and you want to sell them online. So you can build the website, you can build the e-commerce with Odoo, very easy. However, to receive payments, you need to find a payment service provider, payment acquirer in Odoo, that will allow you to create an account with them, etc. So even that is hard because some of them, they will have constraints, they will have requirements. Oh, you need to make tons of money, you need to have so many transactions a month. So it's hard to find one. Then you need to configure your account. They need to validate it. Can take some time. Then you need to actually link it with Odoo. How do you do that? You need to find your API keys. You can imagine that many people don't have a clue what API means. So you have to be an expert to be able to do that. So it's really hard. It's a long process. We wanted to simplify that. So I will try to demonstrate right now, right away, how you can enable Odoo payments very quickly in Odoo. So let's go to the demonstration. So here, maybe let me show you my website that is already built. You can see here, I have a website, it's built. I have a shop, has a few products, very, very nice, good looking products. But I need to be able to receive payments, right? So what you will be able to do in Odoo 15, you go here, you fill your company data. I will show you here. You can see that company data already filled. Or actually, I can see that website is missing. Let's say that it's cookie.odoo.com. You might have your own company website. Right. And the second step is Odoo payments. Allow your customers to pay online for their purchase. Let's enable that. Sounds great. Exactly what I need. We have to wait a little bit. It's normal. And we should land here. Perfect. We land on the Odoo account creation form. So you see here, you have to select your type. I'm a business. The company, actually the company is incorrect. Actually, my company is like Cookie SA, doing business as Cookie. I have a registration number, that's great. Yeah, the address is perfect. Yeah, I live in Cookie Street, amazing. Click Save. You will see here the disclaimer. There is some information about what's happened next, but I will explain all of that to you so you don't need to read. There is the pricing as well, and you confirm that you've read all of that, you agree, and you create your Odoo payments account. Here it's created, great news. You can see here its status, it's pending validation. So pending validation, it's because our support actually needs to verify that the business you are doing meets a few criteria. We'll talk about that later. But today, because I'm very lucky for this demonstration, I have Kelly right next to me from support, and I will ask her, Kelly, can you help me and validate my account, please?
Yeah, certainly. So, taking a look, it looks good. I see he's not selling weapons or drugs. So yeah, as long as I get a free bag of cookies, you're good to go actually.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So let me refresh the screen here. And what can we see? We can see now that the account is validated. Thanks, Kelly. Good job. So we can now receive online payments. We can now receive payments after the first payment will notify you to gather more data. So we'll talk about that later. But let's try it out, right? So let's go here. You can see I'm in incognito mode. I'm not signing, right? I'm looking at my shop. I want to purchase a thank you gift box, I think Kelly deserved one. She even asked for it. So let's add to cart here. That's the usual payment process. So I process the checkout. I will fill my information. So here I'm Pierre. My email is test@odoo.com. My phone is +32 312 Company name, it's also cookie. I'm buying cookie for myself. Street and number, test, city test, and zip code. It's not mandatory. Country, I'm from Belgium. And ship to the same address. That sounds great. Oh, sorry. Zip code was mandatory. Let me fill that. Yeah, it works great. So you can see here, actually, that there is credit card powered by Odoo payment that appears. Magical. You can see here that there is a few payment methods as well that appears. As usual with Odoo, you can configure both the text and which icons should appear in which order. So that's great. If I click on Pay Now, I will be redirected to here, a payment page where I can see that there are so many payment methods available. For this test, I will use credit card. So let me use this credit card number here. You should not bother to type this number down because it's actually just a test card. So unfortunately, it won't work for other e-commerce. So here the payment is successful. That's great. Let me verify. Yeah, 40 euros. Perfect. You can see here as well the sales order number. That's great. So if I go back here, yes, the payment was fully processed. So that was a very, very smooth process for the buyer, as you can see, right? So let's go back to the backend view, right? So the view of the user of Odoo, the seller. So if I refresh the page here, you will see that there is one transaction here. You see the smart button there. Actually, you might not have stayed on that screen for a couple of days, until you make your first sale. So let me show you where you can fall back on that screen. You go to website here, configuration, and you will see here the three Odoo payments page, right? We have payment transaction, balance, and account configuration. So let me go to payment transaction. We can see here, there is a transaction, the sales order number, the reference, the payment methods. Well, I paid with a Visa card, the shopper country. I was in Belgium. My Visa was actually from Spain. And the customer paid 40 euros, but actually the merchant, he received 39 euros 28 cents. So there were 72 cents of fees. And you can see as well the dates. So that's wonderful. Yes, and here again, you can what is very interesting is that from the payment transaction, you will see all the details that are here. You also see status histories in case it took time to validate the transaction, and you can go back to the sales order. So that's super cool. Okay, so that was it for the demo. I hope you remember that in a few clicks, very, very fast, I was able to enable Odoo payments, and just a few seconds later, my customers were able to pay online almost without no configuration. Okay, I'll go back to the slide to show you the rest about what are the other specifications about this new feature. Okay, so the demo went well. So now, first information. Let me describe you which payment methods we support, right? So the good news is that we support tons of them. I've put here the most common used one, Visa, MasterCard, Bank Contact, so that's great, right? And for example, Bank Contact is actually a local one from Belgium, but you have Klarna in other countries, so we also support local payment methods. The next information is about how we do the KYC. So the one about you that are expert in payment, they will know KYC means know your customer. So because we enable you to receive online payments, we have to gather a bit of information about you. So the first tier is the one we did together, where I captured the details about the company, right? And then I verified, the support verified, Kelly actually verified that the business type was okay. Secondly, the second tier, once we reach 1 cent of payment, so typically after the first online payments, we will ask you to provide identity documents. The third tier is once you reach 1,000 euros of transaction, and we will ask you about the shareholders of your companies. And then the last tier, once you reach €5,000 of transaction or more, and we'll ask you about your bank and credit card information. Another something that comes side with the KYC, which is very important, is the bank information, the bank account. So Odoo payments, basically whenever a customer pays something, either with point of sale or online, the money will go to your Odoo payments account. And every 2 weeks, we will do a payout of that money to your bank account. But for that, of course, we need your bank account information, which we will request at the first KYC, so after the first payment. Also here, quickly, I want to show you an example. So this is from odoo.com/shop. So here it's where you will be able to purchase a terminal. There will also be a link from your point of sale application to order a terminal. Here it's an example of our cheapest terminal, P400 Plus, and it works on Wi-Fi, on internet, has Bluetooth, it allows payment contactless, so it's already very powerful. But we have a bunch of other ones with printers, the ones that work with mobile, they have a battery in them, they have a SIM card as well, so they don't even need Wi-Fi connection and stuff like that. So there is a range of choice and quite cheap, to be honest. Finally, I think the something very interesting for you guys is the pricing detail, right? So the first question would be, how much does it cost? So for that, good news, I think we are cheaper than most of our competition. That's what we aim at Odoo as usual. So European and consumer cards will take 1.3% plus 20 euro cents per transaction. And then for commercial and non-European cards, we'll take 2.8% plus 20 euro cents. Secondly, you might wonder yourself, are there any fixed fees like many of our competitors have? Of course, no. The answer is no. There is no fixed fee, so you only have to pay fees on your transactions, but nothing fixed every month. And then who can apply? For that, I have 2 good news for you. The first one is that there is no minimum volume. So you will see that other payment service provider, they ask you to have like minimum volume or amount of money every month. For us, it's really, even if you sell like 2 bags of cookies a month, it's fine. You can use Odoo payments for that. And then secondly, the other good news is that you can support every business.
Well, except for drugs, weapons, and adult content, huh?
Yeah, you're right, Kelly. So that's why we have support that will actually validate you at the beginning of the account creation that you respect those kind of requirements. So to conclude, I want to wrap up what I present you. We think that Odoo payment is super easy to implement. It's just a couple of clicks, and then you can receive online payments and point of sale as well. It's very cheap. As usual, we aim to be cheaper than our competition, so we think that our price is very competitive. And finally, it's flexible. We support many countries, most payment methods. We have quite a big range of terminal offerings, so we are super proud of this, super excited. So I want to thank you very much for listening to me, and I will be happy to answer any of your questions during the Q&A. Kelly, you have to pay for those ones, please.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Q&A session. Pierre, thank you for this great talk.
Hello, Flora. Thanks a lot, of course. Pleasure.
Pierre, before starting, where are my cookies?
I think I'm afraid I ate them all. Too late.
Too late. I arrived too late. All right, so thank you for being here. I have a few questions for you, if you're ready.
Yeah, of course.
Cool.
Let's dive in.
All right. So here the first questions is from Jeffrey Gross. He's asking what are the costs for US companies, but I guess you can talk about the pricing in general.
Yeah, so you saw the price in euro. They will be very similar for US companies, very, very similar, of course, translated in US dollars. To be honest, we need another payment facilitator license to be able to operate for company based in the US. So it will take another few months before it's available in the US. But we'll make sure that the price is available, is very visible on our documentation, of course.
Mhm. Okay, great news. Another question is coming from Sebastian, who's asking, does it work in Rwanda? Excellent question.
Yeah.
Maybe can you tell us about all the countries where the payment
Yeah.
would be available?
Yeah, good question, Sebastian. I hope you enjoy your life in Rwanda. So, unfortunately, no. At the beginning, Odoo payment will only be available for companies based in Europe. And then later on, we will support a few other countries, probably the US, Canada, maybe a few other countries. But then every time we want to operate in a country, we need a payment facilitator license that is provided by Visa and MasterCard. And it's tricky to get, takes time. However, if your company, have a legal entity in Europe or in another country that we support, you can receive payments from customers in Rwanda if they use standard payment methods, typically MasterCard, Visa, etc.
All right, cool. I hope this helps. Another question is coming from A. Lopez. Are there any fee for returns?
Very good question. So if by return you mean refund, then yes. What we will do is that actually we will not charge you for refund, but unfortunately we will not be able to refund you from the charge we took from the payment. So right, so imagine that the customer paid you 100 euros. We took out of that maybe 2 euros, so you got 98. If you want to refund the 100, which you probably want, you will lose the 2 euros that we charge in the first place. So unfortunately, the fees that we took from you are not refundable.
Okay.
For chargeback, for disputes and chargebacks, which is more common in the US than in Europe. So it means that the customer that for which made the payment said actually, to call the bank and ask for a refund, says, I don't know, it was fraudulent, I never received the product, so they ask for a chargeback. Mm-hmm. Then for that, there might be an extra small fee, a transactional fee, to handle the chargeback fee, because there is then a negotiation happening between the banks to see who is guilty or not. So unfortunately, there is a cost for that process.
All right. So Eric, I hope this answers your question. Now let's jump back on another question, which comes from Henry Kessels. Odoo 15 looks amazing. Many expected new features. I can't wait. By the way, when will V15 be usable in the SaaS version?
Yeah, very good question.
Really
we're also super excited. I think that what's happening is that Odoo.com is going to migrate to V15 in the next few days. And then just after that, when we make sure we have no issues for the migration, it will be available for SaaS. So it will take probably a month or so, something like that. Mm-hmm. I'm not 100% sure, but something like that.
All right. So Henry, thanks for your enthusiasm. Abdul is asking whether it works in USA. We already answered to that.
Yes, but I'm happy to answer again because I was maybe not precise enough in the talk. But the idea is that first we will start with the EU countries because we will have a payment facilitator license that works for the EU. And then later on, we will probably get another license for the USA. That's probably the second country we want to target.
All right, so work in progress.
Work in progress, yes. We will keep you posted. And the good news is that we don't intend to release it for V16. As soon as it's available, we'll find a way to make it available for our users that are already on V15.
All right, so less than a year, hopefully.
Yes, less than a year.
Great. I have another question for you. Which payment methods will the shopper be able to use?
Yeah, so like I tried to explain earlier,
hopefully we'll be able to accept payments from most countries of the world. There are tons of payment methods. We have really the most used ones. So we will have MasterCard, Visa, Apple Pay, Google Pay, WeChat, Alipay. Yeah.
So there's a lot of choices. Maybe do you think of any payment methods that is excluded from this license?
I would imagine that some very local payment methods, like we were talking about Rwanda earlier, if they have some very local payment methods from there, probably we might not support them. But for example, in Belgium, we will support Bank Contact, we will support Ideal, so forth, that are other local payment methods from Europe. So hopefully it should be fine.
If processing via Google Pay, does this get around current geographic restrictions?
So if I understand the question correctly,
I guess if you use Google Play in Rwanda, will it work?
Yes, it would work. So the geo restrictions that we have, it's because the legal entity of the company needs to be in Europe, right? So it's not the final shopper, the one that buys something for you, that needs to be in Europe. So I hope that helps.
All right. PayPal?
I think PayPal is supported, but anyway, for PayPal you would need a PayPal account. So I'm not 100% sure, but I would imagine that if you have a PayPal account, it might be cheaper for you to actually use a PayPal account and then use PayPal as a payment acquirer, the one we have today in Odoo.
Anyway, if you want to add anything, you can still answer to the chat, or you can still contact also the rest of the team of Odoo to go into detail. There is also another question. Should users that already have an account with a payment service provider change the Odoo payment instead?
Good question. So I would typically recommend to look at the price, right? So with Odoo, you don't have any fixed cost. You have a transaction cost. It's quite low. It will be the same for everyone. There is no bargaining here. And then we also offer both online and in terminals, right? So if you're unhappy, if it's more expensive, if it's hard to get terminals working, then probably it would be worth switching to Odoo Payment. Otherwise, to be honest, if you have a solution that works and it's much cheaper, then there is no reason to change.
Okay, cool. Thanks for your answer. If we actually making a payment via a point of sales terminal after an order, what is the lead time to receive this payment?
Okay, so the payments will be available in your balance probably almost immediately, maybe after a few minutes if it takes time. Typically, it goes very fast, between a few seconds and a few minutes. And then every 2 weeks, there is a payout from your balance, so from your Odoo Payments balance to your bank account. Yeah.
All right, cool. I have another questions regarding the payment methods. Will it be available for OXXO and 7-Eleven? Maybe can you help the auditors understand where they can find all the payment providers?
Yeah, actually, something I may have not mentioned before, and it's very important, is that the technical partner that will support this new feature will be Adyen. So if you go to adyen.com, I think /pricing, you will see all the payment methods they support. So you can check there if you find the payment method that you want.
Okay, so adyen.com, where you can find if your payment methods will be supported or not. All right, Odoo Payment is available in V15?
Yes, hopefully. So yeah, definitely it will be. But to be honest, right now, if you use Odoo 15 now, if you go on the Runbot, for example, it will not work because we are still finishing and we are still waiting a little bit to get the final legal documents that we need to make it work.
Okay, cool. Here I have another question from Remy Parker. Does this mean to each and every transaction besides the e-commerce module? Does it mean that I need the point of sales module to process any product sale?
Good question. No, luckily no. So the idea is that you can either have sale or you can have e-commerce or you can have point of sale. I think if you have e-commerce, then sale gets installed.
Okay, so
but actually, and you can have either one of them, and then you can use Odoo Payment. Of course, if you have only point of sale, you will not be able to receive online payments. That doesn't just make any sense. But if you have only sale, you can actually already use Odoo payments through, so that your customers can pay for their invoice on the portal with Odoo payments. They could also pay for the subscription, right, with recurring, because we support tokenization, recurring payments.
So as long as the app is actually taking in charge any payment,
Yeah,
it will work.
basically, yeah.
All right. So Drew is asking, how long will the validation process take time by the support team? Do you just file regular support tickets?
So you will not have to fire a support ticket. It will happen automatically. So as soon as you fill in the information that we need to create your account, and you actually validate the disclaimer, then there is actually a ticket that is created automatically behind the scene. You don't have to create it. We expect at the beginning that it will take, let's say, 2 to 3 business days, but it depends. It depends a lot on the quantity of the volume, right? So it could go faster or slower. But we have it's a very key project for Odoo, so we will do our best to make sure it's smooth for every users.
All right. So for the 30 seconds we have left, maybe one last question. Will online customers be able to store and manage their cards on the websites with these payment methods?
Yes. So as you can do with already with some of the, so you will not be able to see the card number, of course, that would be illegal, but you will be able to see payment methods linked to your customers if they have decided to save it, right? So it's similar to what we do today with other payment acquirer.
Okay, cool. Well, this is it. Thank you everyone for your interest, and thank you Abdul Hamid for your enthusiasm again. Indeed, I think you've done a great job.
Thank you. Thank you, Carola. You too, of course.
Yes, enjoy the rest of Odoo experience, guys, and see you around.
Bye.
Bye.